Hi everyone. I was asked today how to select and show inactive records in a related field. Let's discover that. So we are going to see that maybe the example I can take, because it was the one that was asked on a support line, which is the following. I go on a task, any task, maybe I have a few timesheets, and I don't know why I would like to be able to select an employee that is unarchived. As you can see here, I will keep this one open. I will select already and add a line, putting whatever here. Doesn't need to have a few hours. Maybe I should have been a bit too extreme here. I select an employee, and you see I can move from employee 1 to employee 2. And if I have a look at the list of employees, I can go there and I see them. I only have 2 employees at the moment. I can take this one and maybe say, okay, I would like to archive. And then, of course, as it's an employee, you have to give a reason. Say the reason for archiving, which is usually the person left or he has been fired. And then you go here. And if I refresh, of course, we are not going to remove the past records because the person worked and you want to keep track of the previous timesheets. And maybe even in your process of importing data from a previous system, you would like to select, if you don't import yourself, the different employees. But then you see, because I inactivated the person, I cannot select it again. And here I would like maybe to be able to select somebody that is archived. So here you have to differentiate the notion of here the reason why the employee is archived. What really matters is the fact that that notion of archiving is something that you will find on a lot of different records inside Odoo. Usually it's a notion that we call active is true or is false. We can see that very often if I go and have a look at the fields, you see it here, it's just active, and that is something that you will find on a lot of different records. If I go there and I just look at the models for my database at the moment, not the models, I should rather go on the fields. If I want to see all the fields and I type active, you will see there are lots of fields that are called active on a lot of different models. And that's done on purpose. That's how we are going to archive things, activate, inactivate. But more than that, that's also what we are going to do and to use when we want to show items. So the search default function of Odoo, the default search function, is going to, by default, only filter on the items that are not archived. If I want to change that, there's a possibility to do it by changing the view. That would be a first example. We can maybe discuss that right now. I'm going to change the domain that I want to use here, and I can use Studio for that as a starting point. So going on Studio, we go in timesheets. Here you see I can edit the list view. I could edit the form view as well, and there we have the employee. And there's no domain at the moment. I think so. Yes, there's a context, but no domain. And if I want to change that, I could go here and say, okay, I would like to have a look at the ones that are active is set, or, and then I need to say any here, active. Let's go again above, is not set. So here it means whatever the value, let's select it. So because I select that domain, if I close it, now going back there, I have access to my previous employee because I'm going against the default filter of Odoo, which is allowed. You just need to know what you're doing. And of course, this is only going to be impactful here because I changed the view, but I just changed the view here, not in other places. So if you need it in other places, you need to do the same operation at that place. Another thing that you need to know when it comes to those related fields is that you have the same kind of behavior on many-to-manys, but it's not exactly the same. So let's see how we could do that. And you see here, this time it's not on a notion of employee, but a notion of user that we are going to work on this. And this one is a many-to-many. So I'm going to inactivate one of those records, this time in the user's place. And maybe so that I'm sure I'm not going to have issues later, because sometimes I need that employee. I'm going to refresh it and archive. And if I go on the user side, let's take this one and let's archive it. Yes, all right, the user is archived. So now if I go here, I cannot select it anymore. Then the thing is that here, as it's a many-to-many, it can be a bit different. If I select Studio again, I select here the assignees, and I use my domain. I will redo it again and use the notion of active because it's existing on users as well. And don't forget to change this to any, otherwise it will never find any record. If I just do this, you will see that it's giving me all the examples, so that's great, but maybe you want to filter a bit more so that you remove the other ones, but you know that this, it could be done with extra filters, like removing the portal ones and removing the ones that are not internal users. That's also another filter that maybe you want to apply. One thing that is very important here is that previously this filter was not working simply because you needed to add a context here, and a context so that maybe you will need it for one of your own changes. You needed a context that was the following, that is active set equals false. So before that, maybe here you have this inside the v17 dot something, but for all the versions you had to change the context so that you, in order to be able to see in a many-to-many the different records, you needed that notion of active test equals false. I don't think it's going to change anything right now, but maybe on your version you need that kind of behavior. That's it. Okay, but that's good.